What's up, ladies and gents? Xcalizorz here, bringing you some more from the desk of Xcal. Bet you didn't expect to hear that today. So what does your old boy here want to talk about? Well, there is a new kid on the block. The good old 2042 beta came out yesterday, and I got some thoughts on it, and I figured I'd share them with the people. The people. 'Cause I always get asked this stuff, and I kind of wish I made more of these. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But anyway, let's just dive right into it. Performance, not good. Though this is a pretty standard affair for a dice release. I remember, lots of people had issues with Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, the Battlefront games. I myself personally didn't have much of an issue with BF4's release or beta and what have you, but I mean, with just the nature of gaming on PC, it's it's hit and miss for the most part. No one PC is the same. I mean, I'd be surprised if someone had the exact same hardware that I do, for instance, and I don't know, something about the different configurations out there, the CPUs, the GPUs, the MOBOs, blah, 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 what kind of RAM, did you download your RAM, so on and so forth, interacts with these games in weird and unique ways, so kind of frustrating, but I mean, at base here, I've got a 5950X and a 3080, and everything's on low, and I've even downscaled my resolution to 1080 to try and push out some more frames, and for the most part, I get over 100 frames, which, acceptable. Not where I think it should be when I've downscaled and put everything to low and off. And there's certain areas of the map, in particular, I believe it's a flag A1, where, I mean, it is just micro stutter city. Which sort of really brings up an interesting thought, is how is it that Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 1 are phenomenal looking games even till this day, and Battlefield 1 is like, what, 4 or 5 years old, and Battlefront 2 is like 3 or 4. I mean, they got a couple years on them, and they look just phenomenal, and they run like a dream. I wish every game ran like those games and looked the way they do. And then like a new Battlefield comes out, and then it's just the performance isn't there. And so I wonder, like, what exactly is changing so much that, the game performs like this? It just seems to be classic DICE. It's these games are just works in progress. And 2 years later, yeah, they finally polish it up to look real shiny and nice. But release is always kind of hit and miss here. Though I think in Battlefront 2's case, it was good from the start, but I don't know. It's been a while since that game's come out. I don't remember the finer details like that. But when it comes to the performance, like I said, I'm sure they'll be able to sort that out. But again, it's weird. I don't think the game looks that much better than Battlefield 1 and Battlefront 2, and it runs like this. It's odd to me. They've been in the game for 20 years now, making these shooters, and the betas and the releases are always just off. It's weird, but anyway, moving on. So this was a big issue for a lot of PC players. The way the sensitivity and the feel of the mouse works, and so luckily for me, I am a high DPI, high sense player anyway. So by default, I can work with it, but I can tell something is off. And apparently, what it is that this is a video Sandy linked me earlier, and someone is theorizing that they somehow put in console style aim settings, but put on mouse sensitivity, or just wrote in mouse sensitivity instead. So what do I mean by that? So at base, mouse sensitivity on the PC is like unique to it, right? But if you plug in like a Zim 4, you plug in a mouse and keyboard on the PS4. I haven't done it for the PS5 yet, so, well, I don't even know if I will. Why would I? But So, for instance, here in Modern Warfare, we did get asked to plug in our mouse and keyboard to the PS4 when the gunfight beta or alpha or whatever they called it came out. Just to give it a test drive, and it doesn't feel right because what the problem is that on console, like controller, they have their own unique X and Y sensitivities, and when you plug in a mouse and keyboard, I mean, even though you get the mouse and keyboard movement, you are still tied to what the controller can actually do, instead of it getting the unique PC sensitivity. So it'd just be like you just jack up like your X and Y sensitivities to a 10 and 10, but it can't do it. The controller sensitivity settings cannot mimic what you can do with native mouse and keyboard support. It just doesn't work that way. I even tried it back then in the 360 era on Black Ops 1. Yeah, I actually own a Zim 4. I tried it, hated it. It just does not feel right. Then you factor in like the hardware limitation too. I mean, after years of having switched to 144 hertz, and I'm used to gaming at above 100 frames, it's hard. It's hard aiming when you're restricted to 60 frames and it's tied to controller XY sensitivities. It's off. It feels wrong, and that was the case for 2042 last night. It's I tried messing with it. I didn't go too deep into trying to fine tune it because it's just a beta air quotes. So I didn't go too deep into it, but it didn't really seem like me messing with it unless I turn it all the way to 0 really did anything. It just feels off. And again, they've been making PC games for 20 years. How does this happen? Ridiculous. And then we've got like just the overall UI of the game. Like they have this annoying blue and red bar that constantly pops up on the top of your screen. It's jarring. And then on the left side of the screen, they're like what it has like the kill feed, and then it has like when you lose a point or capture a point. It's so colorful and doesn't really seem like it's not really all that pleasing to look at. It's just so colorful, so much going on with just so much useless information. I I don't know. It seems busy. It's a little too busy for me, dog. And well, there's not much else to say about that. So the COD style movement. So I get a kick out of this. It seems like this we're in another copycat era. So when Titanfall 1 first came out with their the double jumps and the wall running, out came the copycats, Advanced Warfare. You get double jumps and wall running and all that sort of fun stuff. And now that people got upset with that and don't like the verticality movement, now now it seems we're embracing the Modern Warfare 2019 style of the crowd or slide canceling and the jumping, and it's just so. I mean, I'll say like for now, like it's fun because the average Battlefield player doesn't move like that. It's a very they're used to a slower pace, let's say. And so it's fun when you know how to move like that, but when the average player base catches on that's how you need to start moving. I would say it's probably going to get a little frustrating because at base, I find just that the way the movement looks is so goofy. like the guy he starts to slide, it immediately accelerates to Mach 5, and then when you jump after that, he still maintains that forward momentum at that same speed. It's just so goofy. And like I like movement. I love Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2 movement. Hell, I loved Advanced Warfare movement. Unpopular opinion, I actually liked Advanced Warfare. Too bad that PC port was a pile of garbage. But it's I mean, at least in this game, I'll probably be more receptive to it because the maps are a little bit more open. Well, okay, no, they're a lot more open, and the indoor areas so far on just the one map are open enough. Whereas like in Vanguard, I can't stand it. I can't stand. I'm not gonna go into a whole rant about everything that was wrong with Vanguard, but as far as the movement is concerned, like just that goofy slide canceling and the jumping, bot movement, bro, bot movement. It's just so good. Like the and those maps are just they're too tiny and claustrophobic for people to be moving like that. I hate it. Not a fan. But in Battlefield, I mean for right now, I think it's fun. But I think when I start playing against more and more people who are doing the same movement that I am, I'm probably gonna be a tad bit annoyed. But again, I'm not a fan of this trend of copying the modern warfare movement. But I guess we're stuck with it for the foreseeable future until I don't know people get sick of that and someone strikes the next patch of gold or whatever. Not even a phrase, patch of gold. What you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. All right. So the map. I mean, the map is huge. It's built for this 64 v 64, 128 players total, and I'm not into the large maps. I like my action nice and condensed. To give like some examples from the Battlefield series itself. I mean, Battle Axe from 1942 is one of my favorite maps of just all time in any game, period. Love it. To give a more recent example from Battlefield 4, Pearl Market from one of those DLC expansions. Love that map. And I think there was another map whose name escapes me. It's like the snow map, and I don't know. It's like some I don't know Russian looking thing. I don't know what it's got snow and it's not big and insulting. It's got like a train yard and all that. And I'm sure some of you diehard fans out there know what I'm talking about. And from BF1, Fort de Vaux, Amiens, I dig that. I like my action nice and condensed, and like it's just there's always going to be a certain part in the match where just like you're just running. You're just running and running and running for just minutes on end. I should see if they have an auto run. I think they have an auto. I hope they have an auto run button. I can sit there and start pounding some bourbon. But it's a little too big. But at least when the game is at least competitive, the action can get pretty good. So I mean, it's not Soyson's level bad. Yeah, get mad. Get mad. I pronounced it wrong. It's staying that way. It's always Soyson's. Deal with it. It's okay. It's okay. A little big. I'm not a big fan of the part of the map where it's just a giant airstrip leading up to Papa Elon's fucking idiot rocket. there's like one path, like a one tiny narrow pathway that you can get from I think it's the C and D flags, which is always great because when you get to the top of the stairs, there's always like four guys just looking right at it. I guess that's why the skyscraper at B is there, so that you can parachute down to either or depending on what's going on in the match. But little too big for me. I could live without the running for minutes on end without seeing anyone or just trying to get from point to point. I know there's Jeeps and ATVs and stuff, but they're not always available. I mean, other people are in the game, right? So sometimes you just gotta hoof it. Or maybe we should just start embracing suicide and spawn at a flag that is closer to the action. I don't know. Maybe suicide is the answer here. Oh, jeez. Delicious water. But you didn't expect to hear that today either. Or maybe you did once you started watching. Anyway, so moving on. Alright, so the weird gimmick of the gun customization where you get to do it on the fly. So, well, I guess I called it a gimmick. So, I can see, like, it's kind of neato. Instead of having to fumble around in a in a menu and click on four different things and scroll through all the different options. It's kind of neat, I didn't really get too much into it yet, besides just switching the different magazines. So because the ammo is they have their own separate pools. Like there's like the extended mag, and then you can switch back to the normal mag, and you effectively have like I don't know, like what 250 rounds total split between the two magazines or whatever. So you run out of ammo in one mag customization, you switch to the other. Quick tip, quickie, in case you didn't know. And that was something by the end of the night I actually was making a use of as I started dying a little less. So it's kind of neat. I guess there's potential there. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but maybe once I mess with it more, you know, I probably could stand to switch to a different site depending on the engagement there. Something that zooms in a little bit further. And apparently there are keybinds to do that, so you can do it even more quickly. So I guess a little more experimentation is needed there. Some of those guns just do kick like mules, though. So why would you want to put a long range scope on the AK anyway? Though, again, I guess with more experience, I can give a more nuanced opinion on that. So I mean, we'll see. It's interesting. I don't hate it, and I guess we'll see where it goes from here. The vehicle balance. So I love, as someone who's primarily an infantry player, I don't really like vehicles in modern battlefield games, which is I don't know. I mean, this is not an indication of any of these games. It's just it's a personal opinion and feeling here. I don't like the way the modern vehicles feel at all. Like I loved vehicles in 1942 and Battlefield Vietnam. Super fun to be in. When back in the old days when I did competitive, like if I had to sub in for a tanker or there was an extra tank on the field, usually I was picked for that duty because your boy could handle himself in a Panzer or a Sherman. If the situation arises, I know about the tread sweet spot, bottom third. See, some things you never forget. How much better would my life be if that fucking useless gaming knowledge was pushed out and I learned something else? But anyway, different discussion for a different day, right? But at base, I do like how the tanks aren't overly hard to kill. It takes about 3 rockets. I'm sure the tanker boys are upset with that. Fuck them, I say. But hey, don't worry. If you like your vehicles, I recommend getting into those choppers because those choppers seem like a huge, huge pain in the ass. Very powerful, and I know one of my the guys I was playing with yesterday was saying the circle strafing that a little bird could do, like the lock-on launchers don't do anything, like it just misses. So if that's the case, that's a real big problem. Though with how long it takes to lock on, I'm sure a skilled little bird pilot is just gonna break LOS somehow. Anyway, it takes like 4 to 5 seconds to lock on, and that thing moves at the speed of lightning. So yeah, it's a skilled helicopter pilot, one of the most terrifying things you can see in Battlefield, and this dates all the way back to Battlefield Vietnam. So in what 18 years, or whenever that game came out, 19 years, not much has changed. Skill pilot will always dominate. And as far as the jets go, didn't really see what the jets could or couldn't do. Didn't really seem to have much of an impact on little old me and my stubby little legs running across the map. But I'm sure when the ace pilot shows up, he'll make his presence felt there. But when it comes, luckily, when you're just playing the regular game of Battlefield, most people who do get into those planes are usually the shits. Lucky for us. So anyway, and so this is something that I thought of while we were playing last night as well. Is why is there not like a way, especially for like these sequential titles, Modern Warfare 2019, the Cold War to Vanguard, Battlefield, 4 to Hardline to 1 to 5 to 2042. Like, why is there not a way to like transfer your settings from one title to another? And I'm not saying like, it needs to be like from Call of Duty to Battlefield. I'm saying like the specific franchise itself, I feel like should have a way to import, all those settings, and especially for something like Battlefield that has options for the options. I mean, they got options for each individual reticle. They've got, it's I don't know. Take a look at the menu someday if you never have. I think I'm pretty minimalist when it comes to the settings that I actually change myself. But man, it's crazy and overwhelming. And after like let's say I've been playing BF1. Well, I still play BF1 to this day, right? And I'm sure there's been settings that I've fine tuned over the years since it's been out. That'd just be nice to transfer it over and get it as close as it can to the new title, and then you can work from there. It just seems odd that no one has ever thought of it, or maybe it's, I don't know. It's just not possible. Are you crazy? I don't know. I think it should be possible. But anyway, overall, I actually woke up today wanting to play more, like, which is something I cannot say for Vanguard. Like, in spite of the shoddy performance, the bugged mouse sensitivity, the obnoxious looking UI, I think there's potential here. And I think I saw a quote on Twitter was that this game needs another 6 months in the oven. I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, I don't think Battlefield can really afford to put out a crap product, because gamers have very short attention spans, right? Like if the first 2 months of the game are the shits, it's over. Well, I'd say maybe in the case of Battlefield, I mean, their fans are going to be their fans for life, probably, unless they just completely muck it up horribly beyond repair. Like, I mean, I think they do have a lot of leeway with their core fan base. But I'd say, look, shoot for a March release date for 2022, and because, I mean, if they've been working on this for 3 years or whatever, like, I can't believe this is the product that we got. But it's just an old build, dude. Cut up some slack. The game comes out in like 3 weeks. How much can possibly change? Ugh. So I'd say, I mean, there's a good core here. Oh yeah, before I forget, the hit detection is the shits too. I forgot to write that in my notes. I actually wrote notes for a video for once, so that I could keep on my proper train of thought here. The hit detection is awful, though. I'd like to think that's something that can easily be fixed, because some guys, I mean, you melt them in 3 shots, boom, 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 and then other times you mag dump them and you wonder why did I die? So there's something off there. But overall, it's fun. I am looking forward to playing it some more tonight. Check out the stream and all that sort of fun stuff. Bring beers and bourbon too. We like that. We like that stuff. And I guess depending on how they play it, I mean, I'm hoping they can make just an epic recovery and just shit all over Vanguard, because that would just make me feel all warm and bubbly inside. So I mean, the ball's in their court. We'll see what they can do with it. Hopefully they can come in the clutch here. So that's all I have for my thoughts on 2042. I'm actually surprised that I was able to ramble on for 24 minutes here. Going forward, I actually would like to make more videos like this, weekly or bi-weekly, or maybe even just monthly, like, I don't know, because there are a lot of thoughts that I've had on modern gaming since Modern Warfare 2019 has come out, and I wish I had those thoughts recorded instead of like just saying like, yeah, remember when we were talking about that like 2 years ago? We're ahead of the curve, man. I wish I had video proof, because those VODs are long gone. So I guess we'll see going forward. So, and also I apologize if you were expecting a gameplay to accompany this. Um, I don't think I could put together a 25-minute Battlefield video that people would actually want to look at. I kind of want this to be like more sort of podcast style, where just listen to it in the background, not something you actively look at. But, I mean, give me your thoughts on that. I'm leaning towards we're just going to keep it podcast style anyway, because it'd be easier on me. I am incredibly lazy and unmotivated, if I'm being quite honest with you. But, rambling out my thoughts on the modern stuff is something I do want to do going forward, and at least keep it, somewhat regular. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'm gonna go make some fucking lunch. Pulled pork is on the menu today, boys. All right. Have a good evening. Have a good morning. Have a good whatever. I'm fucking out of here. Peace.